Welcome back to Leonard Brothers Game. I'm David.
I'm John.
We're playing more Killzone 3. This time we're in a giant mech, which is cool.
I finished my lunch, so that's why I'm back for this episode.
Alright. So anyways, I was saying in the last episode how I think that Sony really dropped the ball in terms of... Oh, I guess that's Rico.
Oh, yeah, don't
shoot Rico. Jump. Anyways.
Follow Rico, don't shoot Rico.
It doesn't do any damage to him, I don't think.
Well, you were wasting ammo then.
There's no ammo reduction.
Well, you're wasting time.
Wasting time, wasting life.
Command. Convoy, what's your status?
Wait here for him. It's kind of weird. I've noticed some like glitch spots where if you walk ahead, the game allows you to, but then like the person who's supposed to be following you in certain sections just suddenly appears beside you out of nowhere. It's like, boop! Oh, I didn't expect you to have moved this far so quickly. So now I am moving like over here. But anyways, I was saying, you know, like I think the Resistance series. If you remember me playing?
Oh yes.
Resistance 1, 2, so that, yeah. You know, that was a launch series that, at least on the PS3, that I think was a much better competition.
That was better.
Yeah.
That one you could actually enjoy. You had the one character you could connect with.
Mm-hmm. Empathize, and he had story reasons for his regenerative health and other things, because he had part alien and the alien DNA, but he was stronger than that. Normally people would just be rewritten to be aliens, and they end up be fighting. Spoiler alert, you fight pretty much your other human beings once they get infected. You know, but he was able to survive and use that technology to his advantage. And the third one kind of fell by the wayside because they kind of, again spoiler alert, they kill off the main character. He dies trying to save humanity in the second game, and so they replace him with like a firefighter in the third game, and they also put in limited health too instead of regenerative health, because he's a normal human being. He hasn't been infected, so he has no story reason to have full health. So they have health packs everywhere, and if you don't conserve them, you just die and like forever, and eventually you just run out of them and have to like restart levels, because you know it's like more traditional old style games, Doom and Duke Nukem and stuff like that. They had the same feature, if you can call it a feature. I call it a limitation. I think that's something that like modern games have really improved on.
Heads up, 12 o'clock.
They're two different methods.
Oh yeah, I mean people like it, and I can see
standards.
where people can appreciate it, but that's just not for me. It took me, you know, I had to cheat in those games. That's why they built those games with cheat codes, and just, you know, I couldn't really get to them legitimate. So I didn't want to put up with the... There's a lot of a problem with the early games, and no matter how hard they were, the end is just, congratulations, you have won. You know, at least with modern games, you get a trophy, you get some kind of, you know, a proof. Unless you recorded it, you know, the cartridge doesn't even typically save the ending of the game, so you have no proof otherwise that you did it. You know, it may have been this, you know, monumentous effort, and you got nothing to show for it. So that would kind of tick me off, especially playing a game like Ghosts and Goblins or Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Dark Souls have those kind of things, but I don't know how much health this giant mech has, but obviously more than my usual character. Anyways, I was also commenting on the last episode about Game Theory's video on comparison between the Wii U and the Virtual Boy. That Nintendo did not learn its lessons by excluding third-party support and releasing technology before it had like a reasonable, fully realized. Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't think that's really the case with the tablet. But, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're bound to repeat them. And obviously if they are having issues with their Wii sales, then yeah, there's... Well, I think that one of the bigger issues, too, is also, like, how they were trying to advertise the Wii U.
Yeah.
And how there were so many people who, you know, weren't necessarily... in tune with the industry.
They still thought it was a controller.
They thought it was well, not just a controller, but like an attachment to have an addition to the original Wii. So it's like, no, it's a Wii U. It's a whole new system.
Box,
yeah, they should have chosen a different name for that.
Yeah.
Like the Wii 2 or something like that. You know, some sort of progression to it. You know.
You think, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it, you know, Nintendo is trying to reach to its hardcore fan base. They're trying to make a system that would say, "Hey, we're for the bigger gamers now, so we got like the Call of Duties and all the other stuff that people want to play, along with your Nintendo favorites. And like,
Well, and like they also said in that Game Theory video, a lot of the video games that they are including on the system are games that have already been out for the other systems for years now, and they muddle through trying to squeeze in the features that are unique to the Wii U that weren't in the original versions of the games, and it just doesn't work very well.
Now, a lot of people were generally complaining about the controller itself. I do think that the Wii U gamepad at least has the similar, if not the same kind of button layout that most controllers have, even though it's just bigger, and probably more ungainly for a child to hold, the expected target audience of Nintendo products. Typically, yeah. I still think it can work. I mean, unlike the Wii U, in the original Wii, they had, all kinds of issues trying to port games, not only because of graphics, but because the controller is so vastly different.
Yeah.
And one of the things I suppose a lot of people were trying to do with, like, different things, like, whatever comes out of the box with the majority of people is what people are going to program for. There are certain models of 360s that didn't have hard drives. So programmers couldn't guarantee that they could have a hard drive to work with to install extra data. So a lot of the games had to be restricted beyond just being on normal dual-layer DVDs, like 9 gig of storage, and sure they could install what was on there to a hard drive if it was available, but if games needed it, like Halo Reach, for example, requires a 10 gig install, and you can't run the game at all if you don't have a hard drive.
Yeah.
And it just excludes a lot of people. And I understand accessories, like, if you don't have a Kinect, no problem. The game is done only with Kinect. If it says only with hard drive, that's kind of a core feature that shouldn't be excluded. I should think. Oh, they're everywhere. I just want to run away from the battle, seriously. Nuts. There's no hiding either, I mean, at least with the other games you can, like,
mech, so
there's no stealth about this, As powerful as the mech may be, it still gets blasted by tons of fire.
Well, I guess like the amount of cracking in the glass shows how much damage you've been taking. Because I noticed that like there ends up being a lot of damage in the glass, and then you walk away for a bit and it
It heals. Yeah, it's a special kind of healing glass automatically regenerates. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there's no real excuse for it. At least the other games tried to. Did I get him? No? I can barely even see him. I'm using the projector now, and I can still barely even see what's going on. That's great. It's a blur. Blurby blur. But yeah, with the other franchises that Sony could be pushing to compete with Halo, that's one thing about the Killzone series in general, is you can tell when the game was made by what it copies from Halo. So like the first one, made around the same time as the first Halo, copies a whole bunch of the unit AIs and all kinds of different strategies, and cover shooting and stuff like that. So, and the second one on the PS3 copies Halo 2 with grappling onto vehicles. Stuff like that, the idea that you can actually kick the enemy out and start piloting their vehicle. And this third one copies a lot from Halo Reach, in that those jetpacks, there's other vehicles, there's higher resolution graphics, there's better multiplayer. A lot of things that Halo Reach included, they're like, me too, we can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know whether that makes it better, because it was really what came first development-wise. They all came out around the same time, whether one developer was looking at the other and saying, hey, we got this feature on this other game, this competitor, but we gotta fix this, we gotta work with this. Or it could be like a endless development cycle, like Duke Nukem Forever or Prey or some other game. If they see a game and it's like, what, to go back to the drawing board and build things up from scratch because you want to put in this feature that's going to completely change the mechanics or the engine or whatever's going on, and we can never release the game because you're never going to be happy with it. A lot of people think it's going to happen to Watch Dogs, It was supposed to be launching with the PS4 and Xbox One. It was supposed to be a Wii U version, which Ubisoft is now saying that the Wii U is such a poor seller they might cancel work on the Wii U version just to get the game out on consoles that do sell.
Yeah.
And they're like, ooh, what do you say about that, Nintendo? Seriously. And they had a lot of other features too. In general, the things that even at least the early dev versions had shown that they used the Wii U gamepad to like hack into stuff in ways that other systems can't do because they need like a separate screen or like a separate menu pop up. But as this, you can be like seamlessly in the game, look down at your cell phone or whatever device is being represented on the screen, tap a few buttons, and then without having to move across multiple screens, seamlessly cause something to happen in the game. It's like, well, that's what the Wii U gamepad was built for. It's exactly that kind of thing, you know. That's why a lot of people were really hoping for that version, even though being like last-gen graphics would still be a high-quality game.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Nintendo really needs to be going for. It's not necessarily like copying or even like porting over the games directly from these other systems. What they need to do is more focus on the unique games.
Oh, yeah.
The games that are originally built for their hardware and optimally uses it, and doesn't make a clunky interface.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's basically their shtick, right? I mean, is that...
Oh, yeah, try to make something unique and...
Yeah, it's that, you know, they don't necessarily have the latest hardware, but they have some hardware that nobody else is using, and you're using it a different way. So keep going with that, you know?
Yeah. Especially if you can lower the price any further. But apparently at this point the Wii U is losing money because they had to lower it to like $250 or I think is what it is. The base price is now like $250. You can get Wii U's relatively cheap, even cheaper than current gen. Well, it's last gen now. PS3 and 360, they're cheaper. Still comes with like 2 games. Like the newest bundles come with like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD or both Mario, like New Super Mario 3D Land and World and some of that, all kinds of bundles.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna keep playing until I can actually beat this section because I'm tired of dying over and over again. And until next time, happy gaming.